definitely, that's of course, and MasterCard has a history, and like Visa has a history, and has built over time, and it's also not invented here in the Dutch market. But from an account-to-account solution basis, Ideal was one of the first, and it was so far not successful, let's say, to be adopted in other markets due to the fact that the markets were not ready or were actually not aware or had their own solution popping up. So there were multiple factors and even also political factors. The not invented here syndrome is, I think, still very much apparent in the European market. And I do believe that from a political perspective that is changing in Europe. Yes,
more cohesive now, or?
To a certain extent, because you have the south and the north, you have the west and the east, and that will remain differences. But if you leave the global standardization as the overall platform where you build your own personalization upon, you're still reliant on those global standards. And the point is, do you want this to actually continue, or do you want to change? And I think there's at least a European willingness to change that, to counter that to a certain extent. Of course, at an economical, sensitive, and sensible way, because we are still Europeans, and specifically the Dutch, we are also very cost sensitive there. But looking, for example, at the CBDC, because there was also a point I wanted to stress, will it really be adopted that fast? I agree there with Michel, probably not that fast, because it's pushed. And is it really solving the problem we are heavily waiting to be solved for? Probably not yet, because we have, I would say, the solutions here also sitting on the chairs. But at the same time, it is a way forward, it is innovation, which is actually also the need to push forward. And that's also what we see in our scheme, in the new Ideal. If you sit very relaxed behind, you say, I have 1.2 billion transactions on a yearly basis. Wow, that's great. But if I keep on relaxing and say, next year 1.4 billion, great, still great. But the year after, it starts to decline already. You really have to adapt to the market changes, and where you can partner, even partner with, to a certain extent, global standards, you should be open to do that. But preferably, first, that's at least our objective from a European perspective, and position yourself well.